Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this session we'll be discussing about the lesions of speech areas, that is the functional areas which control speech on the superolateral surface of the cerebral hemisphere. So before you view this session, I would like you all to go through the sessions which I have done regarding the major SULCI and GYRI on the superolateral surface, the functional areas, and the functional areas of speech. Exclusively I have done an area where I have mentioned in detail about the sensory areas and motor areas. So in this session we will be just discussing about what will happen if there is a lesion in these areas. So before we move on to the lesions, I will just give a briefing about the areas. We have three sets of sensory areas and one set of motor area. So the three sensory areas are area number 22 in the temporal lobe, area number 39 in the parietal lobe, and area number 40 again in the parietal lobe. And the motor area you will get in the frontal lobe, area number 44 and 45. So these are the two sets of areas, sensory areas and motor areas. And when you say about sensory area, these are the areas which will help you to interpret a language. So if you hear something, you are able to understand with the help of area number 22. If you see something written, you are able to understand with the help of area number 39. And if you close your eyes and if you feel for something and you are able to speak about it, that is made possible with the help of area number 40. And what about area number 44 and 45? They are motor speech areas which will help you to speak it out. That is, it is with the help of area number 44 and 45 you are able to speak a language. Okay, now let's see one by one what will happen if there is a lesion on each area. So first we will check area number 22, which is seen on the temporal lobe, and in area number 22 we know that it is the auditory association area, secondary auditory area or auditory association area. That means if you hear a sound or if you hear a language, you are able to interpret it with the help of area number 22. So what will happen if there is a lesion in the area number 22? You won't be able to understand what you hear. That condition is known as word deafness. That means you are not deaf, you are hearing a sound, but you are not able to interpret the meaning of that sound. That is known as word deafness, or you can also call it as sensory aphasia. All these conditions, the lesions in the speech areas, you can call it as aphasias. In the sensory region, if it affects, you call it as sensory aphasia, and if it affects in the motor region, you call it as motor aphasia. If both these regions, sensory and motor, are affected, you call it as global aphasia. So aphasia is absence of interpretation and putting a language into effect. That is what is meant by aphasia, absence of this. So word deafness means you are not practically deaf, but you are not able to interpret what you hear. But you can speak fluently. You will be speaking very fluently, but you won't be able to understand what you hear. That is what is meant by word deafness. Now the second area is area number 39, which actually helps us to interpret the visual images. So what will happen if there is a lesion in area number 39? That condition is known as word blindness. That means your eyes are perfect, your vision is perfect, but if you read, suppose you read, I'm going to drink coffee. You are reading it, but you are not understanding what you are reading. That is known as word blindness. And many of us have seen many cases where the kids are actually tormented in schools for not writing properly, for not learning or reading properly from the textbook. So such conditions, alexia means inability to read. Agraphia means inability to write. So these conditions are mainly because of a lesion in the area number 39. Their condition is very pathetic because they are not able to read. That is not their issue. Their eyes are perfect, but when they read, they are not able to understand what they are reading, and as a result they won't be able to write as well. But if these kids are trained through voice, Suppose if a teacher is sitting with them and if they are actually teaching that kid with the help of sound, they can very easily learn. The only issue is with the area number 39. Okay, so we need to pick those kids and train them specifically if they are suffering from this lesion. Okay, so that is what is meant by alexia and agraphia, inability to read and inability to write. But they can understand and they can speak very fluently because their auditory area is perfect, so that they can learn with the help of sounds which they hear. The only issue is they won't be able to understand what is written. The visual interpretation will be lost. Now, what will happen if there is a lesion in the area number 40? Area number 40 is actually dealing with proprioception. Suppose if you have used a pen, later if you close your eyes and if you hold that thing, you will interpret it as a pen. Okay, but suppose if there is a lesion in area number 40, what will happen? Even if that pen is kept in your hand, you will be feeling it as something, but you won't be able to interpret it as a pen. That condition is known as tactile agnosia, because that is a condition of stereognosis. That means you are not able to familiarize with the object which you were familiar with when you opened your eyes. Okay, so that condition is known as tactile agnosia. Now coming to area number 44 and 45, they are the motor areas which control the speech. If there is a lesion in this area number 44 and 45, that person suffering from this lesion won't be able to make sounds. So that condition is known as motor aphasia. So when they speak, their language won't be fluent. They won't be fluent and they will be very slow in speaking, and they will be having the words will be agrammatical, and they will be using a lot of effort to speak. Though their vocal cords, their larynx, pharynx, everything is perfect, they will be having a they will be putting a great effort to speak. That condition is known as motor aphasia. But they will be able to understand everything, they will be able to hear everything, they will be able to understand what is written, everything. They will be understanding whatever is kept in their hand. All those sensory areas will be unaffected, but only issue is they won't be able to speak fluently. That condition is known as motor aphasia. Now, arcuate fasciculus, you know, the bundle of white matter which connects the sensory area with the motor area. If there is a lesion in the arcuate fasciculus alone, what will happen? Whatever is interpreted in the sensory area won't be conveyed into the motor area. So, in that person, the sensory area is perfect. That means that person will be able to understand what they hear. They will be able to understand what they read. They will be able to understand what they feel. Everything will be perfect. What about their motor area? Yes, of course, they will be able to speak out. Everything will be perfect. But what will happen if there is a lesion in the arcuate fasciculus? If you ask that person to repeat one word, if you say to that person, speak mango, that person won't be able to speak it back. That person will be able to understand, yes, I have told that it is mango, but in order to repeat that word, that information from the sensory area should be carried to the motor area with the help of arcuate fasciculus. So if there is a lesion in the arcuate fasciculus, the only issue will be in the repetition of spoken language. Okay, so only that portion, that part will be affected. So that person will be able to interpret everything. That person will be able to talk everything. The speech will be fluent, but the only issue is if you ask that person to repeat after you, that will be affected, because that information from the sensory to the motor should be conveyed with the help of arcuate fasciculus, and that will be affected. So, in order to summarize in a nutshell, we have two types of aphasia, motor aphasia and sensory aphasia. Motor aphasia, which all regions will be affected, the lesion will be in area number 44 and 45. And what about in sensory aphasia? The region will be area number 22, area number 39 and area number 40. Now what about the speech in motor aphasia? Motor aphasia means the patient won't be able to speak fluently. So the speech will be non-fluent and it will be effortful. Though the larynx, pharynx, everything is perfect, because of that lesion it will be effortful. The patient will put a lot of effort to speak. But what about sensory aphasia? Sensory aphasia, even though the patient is not understanding anything, the speech part is, the motor part is perfect, and they will just speak a lot of words, and sometimes it will look like a foreign language. The speech will be fluent. What about comprehension? Comprehension means understanding a language. So in motor aphasia, only the motor part is affected. The sensory part is not affected. So the comprehension will be very good. But in sensory aphasia, the comprehension, the ability to understand will be poor, because the ability to understand is controlled by the sensory areas of speech. Now what about the ability to read and write? Read and write, again it is a method of understanding the language. So that will be actually intact in motor aphasia, because motor aphasia is just putting out the words into action. But in sensory aphasia, what happens? The ability to read and write, we have already discussed alexia, agraphia, that will be affected and lost. And what about word blindness? Word blindness means you are seeing those words, but it looks as if you are blind because you are not able to understand anything. So that again is a mode of interpretation, that is a sensory component. So in motor aphasia, there won't be word blindness, but in sensory aphasia, the patient will be suffering from word blindness because he or she won't be able to interpret what is written. So in a nutshell, regarding the lesions of speech centers, there are mainly sensory and motor. Sensory deals with the interpretation or understanding what you hear, what you read, or what you feel. So any lesion in the sensory area will result in inability to hear the sound, interpret the sound which you hear, interpret what you read, and interpret what you feel. And that is known as sensory aphasia. And in motor aphasia, it means there is a lesion in the motor speech area which controls the production of sound with the help of the lips, larynx, pharynx, etc. So if there is a lesion in the motor speech area, that results in motor aphasia, and you won't be able to speak it out, but your ability to understand everything will be perfect. So that's all about. And the global aphasia, you know, if all these areas, sensory and motor areas, are affected together, the patient will be deaf mute. You won't be able to understand anything, and you won't be able to speak anything. That condition is known as global aphasia. So hope you understood. Please leave your comments in the comment section, and I'll be coming with more and more videos. Thank you for watching.